Hello, so we have Dr. Faiza today with us, and I am lucky to find her somewhere online. And I'm happy people are reaching out to us to feature on the podcast. So she's an amazing academician, and a lot to her credit. And I wish she would find some more time for us for this podcast because she's a really busy personality. She can't find more than 30 minutes. So I requested her to at least feature for at least 30 minutes for us for the day. Okay, so I want Dr. Faiza to tell us what she's doing so far and what is the details about her foundations, all of that, so the audience can get to know. Dr. Faiza, you're on the screen next. So please tell us about yourself, what you have been doing so far, and all of that, please.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And good afternoon, Dr. Ati. I'm actually currently a lecturer. I'm lecturing undergraduate, and I'm also starting up my own foundation now to support people in education, mentorship, and social welfare. Everybody is dependent on the government, expecting the government to do this, to do that. But if we look at developed nations, we see that most of them are actually not dependent on the government. Most of them are becoming innovative. So through my foundation, I actually would like an opportunity to innovate a lot of things, support people, help them, guide them to become the better versions of themselves. Because I was also lucky to have mentorship. So that's why I think I have my education process smoothly that brought me to this level. And another thing is, I came from a background that values education. My dad always motivated me to study, to be somebody, to do something, to impact people. So that's why, or that's where my love for supporting the community actually came from. So this is just a brief about me.
When did you start this foundation actually? How many years so far?
Okay, about almost a year now. Officially almost a year, but mostly I started it since when I was a student at my university level. I participated in the charity club. I was the president of the club. So my interest started developing mostly from there. And then when I graduated, I got a job and I'm currently advising the charity club. So I've been doing it on the sidelines. But now, because I want to go bigger, I want to give more impact to people. That's why I decided to register it last year to make it an official independent nonprofit organization. So that in a situation where I'm not even there, someone can be able to run it up. At least let the legacy continue. Let's continue to make impact. Let's make it sustainable.
That's a very nice thought, and that's from where I clicked her, and then we collaborated together, and now we are thinking to work in the future also. I'll somehow try to contribute with your foundation.
Definitely.
That's a very nice motive that you have been
Definitely.
taking so far. So I'm glad you're here today, and you could find some
Thank
time. So we have a few questions from the audience that they would want to know, and even I would want to know more about you. So Dr. Maitala, you have a very impressive career journey, right? And so, can you actually tell us a little about your background and about what inspires you so far for pursuing academia, and then after that, this foundation, and what's the core link between both of them for you?
Okay. So I actually will not say I started my career based on inspiration. I think I started my career based on opportunity. So let me give you a brief background about me. I did a military school, primary and secondary school, Air Force. So I think I had that discipline of don't waste time, whatever is available, pick it up, do it. You can dream while you work instead of sitting down idle. So at the point when I finished secondary school, I loved mathematics. I loved accountancy. So I wanted to study accountancy. But then because of the state situation of federal university, my dad was insistent, no, go to university. So when I applied, they gave me business administration, and I was like, okay, let me just jump on the opportunity. I started business administration. I think when I got to my third year, that's when the university started accountancy. So I was not looking at the option of transfer because I just want to finish and have a degree. So luckily for me, I graduated with a first class, and then they gave me 100% scholarship. So with that
Wow.
scholarship,
Okay.
I dived in into management. MSc management was available. There was still no postgraduate course on accounting because they had not graduated their first set of students. So I started my MSc after my NYSC, and with that, I also finished my MSc, and luckily for me, I got a job in the institution. So I was working as an administrative staff. So the tax was
In
the
the same
same every day.
place, in the same
So
university, and then
sometimes you're
is it from the same university
yeah, the
where you
same
were?
institution I did now. Yeah. So the task was the same for me. Every day I go to work, collect letters, receive letters, record letters. So it was kind of like bored for me having to do the same thing over and over and over again. And then a thought came to me, why not I move to academics? And then unfortunately for me, they wouldn't take me because I didn't have a PhD, or
Yeah.
I didn't have a PhD basically. So it was my motivation for starting a PhD.
But
All
you
this
always,
while, I've not
but you
forgotten the
always
fact
wanted
that I love
to
that.
be a faculty, right? A teacher. You always wanted to be a professor, or you wanted to be
Yes,
something
I've
else.
actually been taking my. I actually didn't have. That's one thing I never actually had a plan for myself. All I know is I loved books, and then I loved studying. But then when I was an undergraduate student, I used to do a brief tutorial for my friends and colleagues, my mates in school. So I think that was where I started learning how to teach, how to explain to people. And then when I decided to move into academics, that's from admin, I transitioned to academics. It was a struggle for me at first because even my family, if they hear Faiza is a lecturer, I was an introvert, more like I didn't like talking. I I was always reserved, always in my room. If I'm always writing, that's my means of communication. So most people didn't know about me, they didn't understand things. So I wanted to transition from administrative work to academics. So I started my PhD journey. And when I started my PhD, they also gave me the role of an assistant lecturer. So I started with basic undergraduate courses, introduction to finance, introduction to business administration, introduction to management and society. And then from then I continued moving. And then I was lucky because I liked finance, accounting. So I actually specialized in financial management. So financial management allowed me to experience a bit of accounting, not completely, mostly interpretation of financial results. And then after my PhD, I continued my work. I've been lecturing now for like 7 years. And then last year, I decided to start my CFA journey. So I've already written the level 1 exams, and then I'm a registered candidate for level 2 because, with them, they are highly ethical. So if I was not registered, I'm not even allowed to say I'm a candidate. But alhamdulillah, I registered for my level 2 exams, I think last week, Friday. Yes. So the journey is continuing. And then CFA is allowing me the opportunity to study both accounting and finance. So my interest in accounting has been with me for that long. So my career is not by inspiration. I actually started it because it was an opportunity was there for me. So I took it up. And then when I started lecturing, academics is one of the most interesting things I have done in my entire life. Having to interact with your students in class is unbelievable. And then them even trusting you, coming to you for advice, for mentorship is just amazing. And it's just so beautiful. Alhamdulillah, I'm lucky that I was able to experience that. So the inspiration came after I had started, not before I started.
So I'm glad to know about your journey, and it's a very nice story so far. Somewhere lost, and I was like, okay, that's how it started. It's good to know you. Okay, so the second question is, where was some of the challenges, biggest challenges you faced in life, and then you established the foundation and how did you overcome them? Because it's not very easy to start an enterprise, whether it is NGO, whatever it is. It takes some time to plan and arrange everything in the process. So what challenges that you faced in that process, and then how did you try to overcome them?
Okay, regarding my personal career, some of the challenges I faced was the fact that when I started explaining, I had a smooth journey, luckily for me. I finished primary school straight to secondary school, straight to university. I didn't have to bother about other economic factors like Nigerian strike or anything. It was smooth for me. But then I think at some point it taught me patience. It became a struggle one way or the other. For example, when I was doing my PhD, we were supposed to, PhD is 3 years, and then I've been going through schools without any delay. So I actually expected to finish my PhD in 3 years, but it wasn't like that. I think it took me almost 4 years to finish my PhD. Why? Because there was a rule that if you start a PhD with Nile University, you're supposed to write a comprehensive exams. And then I think we were the first set, so that's why a lot of things were not going accordingly and smoothly. So we're supposed to write a comprehensive exams after the first year of our coursework before we start our dissertations.
Your voice
So
is cracking, Faiza. And sometimes
okay,
your video is pausing. Is it the internet my side or your side?
I don't know. It's happening the same way too for you. I'm also seeing it. It's
Yeah, the
frozen,
voice is
but since
cracking. So if the voice cracks, the video turns very bad. So
okay,
now it's better, but
uh,
maybe you can speak a little slow. At least we can understand. I can stop you in between in case the voice cracks again. So yeah, continue, please.
okay, so let me go back a bit. When I was writing, start doing my PhD, I was supposed
And
to
Faida,
finish
I'm
my
asking about your
PhD.
foundation, not your academic
Oh,
journey.
foundation, sorry.
So
Okay,
let's
let me go. My
let's start
foundation, it
again
was not,
with your foundation. I gave you the questions already now. How can you make a mistake?
yes, but you said your personal challenges and then you moved to
In the
foundation. So let
foundation,
me go back.
while establishing the
Oh,
foundation.
okay, the foundation setting up, I actually just had like two major challenges. Because when I wanted to register the foundation, I didn't do it myself. I got a legal advisor. So he did the process of registration for me. But I know one of the major challenges was a lot of paperwork. So if we can, especially with the CAC, so if they can just like reduce the paperwork, I think it will help a lot. And then another major challenge I faced was the issue of NIN, different names with the names on the document of my trustees and also myself, because Haruna was not in my name and eventually it became an issue. So to address that, we actually did a lot of court affidavits.
Okay, okay.
We
So
did
it takes
a
time,
lot of
right?
it.
That means you started planning
So that was how
way
I addressed
before
it. And then,
you started, right? It takes time.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, it takes time. It took me about 4 to 5 months to register the foundation.
okay, okay. That's very interesting. At least people should know how when they're in case they're planning to start something new, they need to plan in advance to be on time. It's not the way
Yeah.
you assume. Okay, so your career, what likely you have learned from the valuable lessons in your life, and what would you say about the most important lesson that you've learned so far? Which is the lesson, and then how can the audience benefit from them?
Okay. So this throughout my career life, I've learned three things: resilience, discipline, and patience. The most important one is the discipline that you have, because these days now there are a lot of distractions on the side.
Yeah.
There are a lot of distractions. You find yourself on Netflix for 2 hours, 3 hours, on Instagram playing Candy Crush. But
Oh, you
you
play
need that
Candy
discipline
Crush.
to actually move forward.
Okay, okay, that's very interesting. Anyway, so
I
this
have a lot of distractions. I will tell myself I'm going to wake up and read for 2 hours.
okay, you like reading and then you like playing Candy Crush also. That's very interesting. I never knew the academicians also prefer playing Candy Crush
Yes.
for time pass. That's very interesting. Okay. And yesterday also I was having some podcast and I realized that uh, that was the same point she was discussing, that patience is very important, and nowadays we can't expect anything without patience. So it takes a long time to get somewhere we really
That's
want
what's
to.
important.
So yeah, it's very true, and especially when you are a professor, a lecturer somewhere, even that requires a lot of patience with the students also. So yeah.
Yeah. Patience is actually good, especially with globalization. We actually see what is happening in the developed world. things are easier for them than those of us in developing nations. So you need that patience, a lot of it.
Yeah, very true. That's very true. Okay. So, how did you balance your personal life and the demands of the running foundation that you have, that you own nowadays? And do you have some strategies to maintain the work-life balance? Because it's very tough nowadays to maintain your regular job and then also handle a foundation and then your personal life. So, how do you manage that?
Okay, to be very honest, there is no balance. You can't have perfect balance because sometimes even if you have your something comes in to disrupt the balance. So the two things I'll tell you or to always have is always make sure that you have a support system. I got a lot of support from my family, from friends, from colleagues at work. So it's very important for you to have that support, build a relationship that's lasting. And then another strategy is for you to always have your goal, set targets for yourself, and always reward yourself for achieving it. We actually underestimate ourselves and we don't celebrate meeting targets. We should always be able to appreciate ourselves and celebrate when we meet a target. That should be able to motivate you more to do better and then to build yourself.
Okay, that's very interesting. So, how do you celebrate yourself? Celebrating and valuing yourself is very, very important. That's a very good statement. So, let me try to learn more from you. So, at least even I can celebrate myself sometimes. So, how do you do that?
Okay, sometimes I buy things for myself.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah, when I pass something or I buy things for myself. Like for example, this Salah, I got myself three new shoes.
Oh, it's Salah. Yeah.
And
So,
then sometimes
Eid Mubarak to you and your family members around here.
it moves on. Thank you so much. And sometimes I do sometimes you're broke, right? And then you want to celebrate yourself. So you can just get yourself maybe a scoop or two scoops
Any
of ice
treat,
cream.
any
That's
treat. Yeah.
recognizing yourself, or take
Yeah.
yourself to a movie. That's love. Take yourself out, meet people, network, interact. It actually clears your head and then it makes you ready for whatever is coming next.
And that's very true. Socializing is very important. Even networking is very important for the profession that you are
Yeah.
into and we are into. So, of course, and even for the foundation. So, yeah, that's very nice and genuine feedback. Okay. So, moving to the next question that what advice would you give to the young professionals or the aspiring entrepreneurs or anybody who wants to even open an NGO who want meaningful purpose and impact to come to actually impact for the society and community in their own field? So what kind of advice would you prefer to give to them, those professionals?
Okay, I think I have four or five advices for them. The first one is for you to start. I've always wanted to start a foundation, but I always think, oh, I don't have the money. Funding is going to be challenging. But I recently went for an ACCA conference, and one of the speakers spoke about how you spend your time now is going to be cumulative, accumulation of who you are going to be in tomorrow. So you need to start early, even if you don't have the resources. Now, finances is not just the only resources. How you network, your visibility, they are all resources. So you can start small. And then just because I say start early, that does not mean starting late. Starting late is wrong. So start with what you have. And then as much as you
Faisal,
can, all these distractions.
speak slow. They can be Indian audience also, and they won't understand this fast English. So speak slow, slower than me.
Okay,
And even the recording is breaking like that.
slowly.
Yeah, slowly every word.
Okay. I
Yeah.
said start early. It's important once you have an idea and you know that you have the willingness and the motivation for it, you should start. No matter how small it is, don't think that you don't have the money, you don't have the network. There are other resources these days with the help of technology. Visibility, network, collaborations can actually take you to a lot of places. And then, as much as you can, try to avoid distractions. I said earlier that there are a lot of distractions.
Yeah.
If you have a task, commit even 30 minutes, an hour to achieving that. And then also make sure you have a lot of discipline and make sure you are consistent. Don't be discouraged. There are a lot of challenges out there that will demoralize you, but you need to take it up, do it over and over and over again. And then above all, you have to prioritize continuous learning. Learning doesn't stop. If you are a graduate, you don't say no. I'm sure Dr. Ati as you are now, I'm sure you're always learning and learning and learning. It's something that should be continuous, something that should not stop at one point. So you open your mind, learn new things, and don't even underestimate who you are learning from. I've learned a lot from my students.
Yeah.
For example, just 2 weeks ago, I was teaching about social media. And then I was like, the impression I have about TikTok is that because that's what is always trending on Instagram, it's always people coming to dance, coming to dance, coming to dance. And one of my students tried to educate me that it's actually a large market on TikTok. So the TikTok is just an algorithm. What people are watching, that's what it keeps popping. And I've started using TikTok since from then. And it's actually a learning platform, just like like we underestimate YouTube. So that's the same way I underestimated TikTok. But TikTok actually has a lot of learning platforms. You can learn a lot from people, content, marketing, um, public speaking. So all these things are out there. So just make sure you are using the resources that you have available wisely and then in a disciplined manner.
Okay, that's a very interesting topic and point that you have told us about social media and the right use. Yeah, so the right governed use is okay, and learning is, of course, is very important because I know even for the profession that we are into, it's very important to learn because if you don't know much and if you're not very acquainted with the terms nowadays and trends, you can't teach the students also. So just to make it more practical for them, you need to know it yourself. That's very right.
You
Uh,
need
yeah, it's very correct actually. Okay, and interesting because especially with the academicians, I can relate very well because we are in the same profession. So yeah, I agree with the factors. Yeah. So okay, so the work that you do through the foundation is very impactful because it involves kids, involves trying to render the requirements of the society nowadays. So can you share a story or a movement that you made, which actually made you feel very proud and it confirmed the right choice that you made for your foundation. So any particular story?
okay. The most intriguing thing about my ask was when are you coming back? So recently, the last one I went to, it was upper primary. We had a discussion with them mostly about changing your mindset. So as we were standing, I'm trying to gather our things to go. A girl, not a lady, because I think she should be between 9 and 11 years old. She walked up to me and she popped out her pinky finger like this. She was like, "Promise me you are going to come back." And then I looked at her like a lot of people have told me, "When are you coming back? Please come back." But the fact that she even came out innocently, kids are so innocent. She came out and she gave me a pinky that I should pinky swear on it. I don't know
Oh,
how
the pinky
pinky
promise.
swear that I am
Okay.
going to come back. Like that pinky promise. Thank you. Pinky promise that I'm going to come back. Like that moment, it's actually touched my life and then it motivated me to keep going and to continue because I was just a little girl like her. So I'm sure if I motivate her, she'll be able to motivate more people and then the circle will keep growing. Maybe I've motivated one person, she might motivate 2 people, 3 people, and then
Yeah.
the
So,
next 3 people will
mm.
motivate other people, and then it keeps going large.
And they're happy that at least somebody's concerned about them and somebody's coming to just talk and
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that's very nice. That's very nice. So
And
that's
there's
the that's the beauty of NGOs actually. So, but the strange part
yeah,
for me is because the the financial perspectives are really important even for running an NGO. So we would generally say that
yeah,
it's a non-profit organization, but it actually requires a lot of money. So how do you manage all of that?
yeah,
Uh,
it does.
how do you manage your funds?
Okay, when it comes to fund management, most of it comes from myself and my board of trustees. Like I've asked a lot of my family and friends to commit like 10% of their salaries every month.
Oh, and they're doing it. That's good.
Yes.
That's good.
So we can have the funding. And then there are a lot of generous people that once they see what you're doing, sometimes you just see a credit alert. And then if you try to communicate it, I use all my social media platforms. I use my WhatsApp, I use my LinkedIn, Instagram,
That's
I use
bootstrapping,
all
right?
of them. So
That's bootstrapping from the
yes,
audience. Hmm. Okay.
yes, crowdfunding. So you do that. And then sometimes if you go out for a training, because of your training, once they pay you, you can commit those funds. entirely to the foundation, and then you do what you can.
But Dr. Faiza, I guess even the government is doing playing a very huge role in this. So why don't you look at some other opportunities from the government side, from where you can actually find some projects and funding for yourself, instead of instead of using your own funds, and that too for an NGO, isn't it really costly unnecessarily investing your own funds? Ideally, it should be coming from the audience, right?
Yes,
So the government is running a lot of opportunities for, especially for the
yes, it's
NGOs.
actually,
You can try that.
yeah, there are government funding that actually comes in place. But like I mentioned when I started, like I just registered last year. So there are still some documentations I'm doing before I can register with these government agencies. Like our
Okay.
tax exempt, SCUMO certificate. I need to have all these papers. So we're in the process, and hopefully before the half or end of the third quarter of the year, I should be able to register with all the government agencies and collaborate with other NGOs too.
And that's very good. If that is in the, and I wish you all the best for that. Inshallah, you should be getting some funding from outside, because to support such a good cause,
Yeah, but
it's not very easy to have to always use your. Okay, so fine, very interesting, Dr. Faiza. Thank you for sharing your ideas. So I would like to ultimately know about the future goals of your organization, the foundation running. What do you long run, and in the which is your what is your long term vision and the aspirations for the work that you're doing so far?
okay. My long-term vision actually seems very big because I actually want to be a recognized foundation like the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation because of the impact I'm making. Yeah, so I have a long-term positive impact on providing scholarships, coaching people, especially children between the ages of 4 and 18, community outreach, and above all, the most important thing is long-term collaborations with other NGOs. Because if anything has taught me, if I've learned anything in this entire running foundation thing, is that you can't do it alone.
Yeah.
So you need all to do it because Nigeria is a very large country. I can't do it alone. So building these long-term collaborations and relationshiip to create the impact is actually what I'm focused on right now, so that we can be a world-recognized NGO. God, we can go beyond Nigeria and start looking at African countries and then, dreaming big to be a recognized global foundation.
Yeah,
So I don't want it
manifestation
to
is very,
limit.
very important, and
Yeah.
by God's grace, you should reach there very soon, because the cause is very noble. It's very noble cause. So for a noble cause, have a lot of support and prayers also from others. Even we wish you all the best,
Yeah.
and we hope to
And
see
with
you
your
in next.
support too.
Yeah, of course, no problem. And okay, Dr. Faiza, it was very nice to listen to you and your journey, and to a lot of things to learn, of course, because nobody is perfect. So we are still learning in the process. And thank you for motivating us also to contribute somehow, and then to be associated with the NGOs, because it actually plays a very important role in the society and upliftment, especially for the kids. So thank you for being here for your time. And in the last few moments with you, I would like to request you to, in case you want to share some message with the audience, and any advice, message, anything you want to say to the audience that they should follow and they should benefit, and everybody will be, will be on equity at some point in time in the future, maybe learning from your journey. So, any advice, please?
Okay, my advice to everyone out there is that please, when you have opportunities, take them, and you should also keep dreaming. It's actually possible for you to work on the opportunities that are available for you and also dream big and build yourself and also build a foundation, a business, or an enterprise that you want to start for yourself. And please always learn to start early. Once you have something in mind, don't certain factors to limit you or stop you from doing what you want to do. Start with whatever you have, the little you can. And then for everyone out there, especially for those in the classroom, please always try to educate and enlighten the people, because one of these disadvantages I noticed I had was I didn't have the chance or the opportunity to know what is actually available for me out there. For example, networking. I just believed in coming to school, reading and passing exams and getting good grades. Life is actually beyond that. You can live happily and do a lot of things out there. So try to network, try to meet people, try to know what things are available for you out there. Conferences, fellowships, training, workshops, they are all available. And that's the best platform you can actually build relationship with people, because you get to interact with people, they get to understand you, what you can do and what you cannot do. So please always put yourself out there. Don't be shy.
That's a very
So
nice
these are all I have.
message. That's a very good message. And of course, networking is
Thank
very
you.
important. That's how we even landed in this podcast. So it's very important to have networking in case you want to flourish in life, because alone you can't be winning everything. It's together
You
that we come
can't.
together and start working. Yeah. So thank you so much
It's
once
all
again.
about.
Thank you so much once again for the message and for the time that you have spared so far. I know you're busy with your foundation. You said you still have to run it, but you still could find out some time for us to be on the channel. So I really appreciate that. And thanks for your thought and the process that you have been taking so far, trying, especially with the NGO thing, because that's very motivating for us. It's a very noble cause. So yeah. So it was good to have you here.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We'll
Thank you
stay
so much.
connected with you, and we'll stay connected with you, and we'll keep on meeting you. And maybe in the future, once your foundation grows, we can still invite you as a bigger personality on the channel. So yeah.
Before it grows, we're going to keep meeting again on the channel. Let me first for that now. So at least sometimes if I want an advice, maybe you can just do a session and then people can put in their own inputs if you agree to it.
No problem at all. Anytime, I'm always in for you and for everybody around. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, and thank you for having me a part of as the foundation for the invite. I look forward to it.
Thank
Thank you. Have a good day.
All right. Thank
Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye bye. Okay, so this was Dr. Faiza with us today on the channel, and she has shared her journey about the academic life, how she actually came up to the NGO thought, and she's running that as of now. It's a very good and positive thought towards contributing back to society from where you're taking since long. So I would really appreciate the effort, and see that's how you network and you get to know people, and then you can always be a part of their journey. So thank you for the invite, Dr. Faiza. I will actually also like to be a part of your NGO and somehow contribute my best levels in terms of expertise and whatever you want so far. So thank you for the invite, and I hope you guys like the channel, like the content. Plus, let me know in case whatever else you want to have on the channel. Plus, the idea is to reach out to maximum people and then have them on the podcast, so at least they can share their experiences. Because sometimes these things go unnoticed, and there are people you can see already. A lot of people are doing. Everybody somehow doing some of the other contribution to the society or in their lives. So at least all those things should be brought to the notice of the audience. So at least we know and we somehow can play our part and contribute. So that's my part of it, to bring the stories to you every time on Sunday. And this podcast is going to stream today on Sunday on my channel shortly. Thank you for the support. Thank you for listening to us, and for so much of love. The family is growing, of course, both on Instagram as well as YouTube. So I really thank everybody for the support and for the motivation. I'm glad you guys are liking it. So thank you so much. I'll see you today on Sunday by 1:30 on the podcast, streaming live on YouTube. Have a good day.